UFC 287 is this weekend. I'm going to be breaking down the card start to finish from early prelims to the main event, start to finish. From this first matchup, we have Trey Ogden versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Trey Ogden, 16-5, 33 years of age, 72 inches of reach. And Bahamondes is 13-4, 25 years of age, 75 inches of reach. Bahamondes will have a 3-inch reach advantage in this matchup. Trey Ogden's last couple matchups were against Daniel Zellhuber. He won by decision and then lost to Jordan Levitt by split decision. Ignacio Bahamondes, Bizu wrong. I don't even know how I even say that name. But then he KO'd Roosevelt Roberts by an insane knockout. If you haven't seen it, it's just absolutely insane. The craziest knockout I've ever seen. But I am going to go with Bahamondes here. I think he can damage up Ogden pretty well. Tapology has the same. They have him winning by KO, TKO. Maybe Bahamondes can finish him off in the second or third rounds, but I think I might stick with the decision. But I think he definitely outstrikes Ogden here. But yeah, third round TKO, second round TKO might be a comfortable pick here. But I do think he gets the win. Up the card, we have Chris Barnett versus Chase Sherman. Barnett, 23-8, 36 years of age, 75 inches of reach. Sherman, 16-11, 33 years of age, 78 inches of reach. Sherman will have a 3-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I don't know. This one's kind of a tough matchup. I'm not super crazy about Chase Sherman. He's, on the screen right now, you can see he's lost 4 of his last 5. Did beat Jaron Vandera. Did get beat up pretty bad by Waldo Cortez Acosta, but Chris Barnett isn't the best. Like, I do like him as a fighter. He's a very entertaining fighter, but I don't think he's the best. He beat Jake Collier, which I was not expecting. He lost to Martin Boudet, who's a decent fighter. Beat Gian Vellante by a wheel kick. But for this one, I am going to go with Sherman, I think. I'm going to go with Sherman. He gave a lot of really good shots from Waldo Cortez Acosta. And honestly, I think the only way I can see Chris Barnett winning this fight is probably by a finish. I think Sherman will be able to be a little bit more durable for Barnett's shots. I think he's going to be solid. He's not going to take too many risks out there, and I think Barnett will. He's going to be out of range. He's a smaller dude. It's going to be harder to land some really good shots on Sherman and then hurt him and get him to the ground. So I think Sherman maybe wins this fight by decision. I kind of edge the conditioning with Sherman a little bit more here. He's not as big as Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett is 267, and he is a meatball. And Chase Sherman's just more, I won't say he's like the best conditioned fighter, but he's not like overweight. That's what I'm going to get at. He's not a big dude like Chris Barnett. I think he's going to be more durable. I think he's going to have better conditioning. I think he just wins this fight by a decision, honestly. But I am going to root for Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett's a really fun fighter. So that's what I have for this one. Chase Sherman by a decision. Up the card, we have Sam Hughes versus Jaqueline Amorim. Sam Hughes is 7-5, 30 years of age, 64.5 inches of reach. Amorim 6-0, 27 years of age, 67.5 inches of reach. Amorim will have a 3-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with her. This is one of those women's MMA bouts where Sam Hughes, who's coming off a loss against Pierre Rodriguez, I guess beat Elise Reed, who isn't bad. Estela Nunes, well, Elise Reed's not that good, honestly. Beat Estela Nunes by majority decision, lost to Luana Pinheiro. Jaqueline Amorim, undefeated. 27 years old, 3 inches of reach advantage. I'm going to go with Amorim. I think she gets it done here, maybe by submission. She does have a lot of finishes on her record, I believe. I think all of her fights have been won by finish. Yeah, she has 1 KO, TKO victory and then 5 submission victories. So I'll go with a submission victory here. If not, just take the decision, honestly. It's just one of those bouts, one of those women's MMA bouts. I kind of want to see what Jaqueline Amorim looks like against Sam Hughes, though, so we'll see. Up the card, we have GM3 versus Joe Pyfer. GM3, 35-15, 35 years of age, 77.5 inches of reach. Pyfer, 10-2, 26 years of age and 75 inches of reach. GM3 will have a 2.5-inch reach advantage in this match, if I can speak. I am going to go with Joe Pyfer. Again, he's one of those contender series guys that was pretty hyped up quite a bit, especially from Dana White. I think he was on the week 1 of this last 2022 contender series where I be like Joe Pyfer, that whole thing. He beat Ozzy Diaz by a crazy KO, beat Alan Amadovsky, which he should have, by KO. And Gerald Meerschaert surprised me and beat Bruno Silva. Took 6 months off from that fight. I don't know how Bruno Silva lost that fight. Christoph Jocko, he did lose to, and I think he did lose to Hamzat Chimaev by like a one-shot KO. So I'm going to go with Joseph Pyfer. Or Joe Pyfer. I think he has the KO power to get this done. I am a little worried if he does try to get this to the ground. Joe Pyfer has really good wrestling, but the grappling of Gerald Meerschaert is really good. Gerald Meerschaert just finds ways to win these fights. He beat Dustin Stoltzfus just I believe, oh, Joe Pyfer lost to Dustin Solstice because he injured his arm or whatever in the Contender Series. But he beat Makhmud Muradov, who's a solid fighter, and then beat Bartosz Babinski. So I'm going to go with Joe Pyfer. It is pretty even here, but I do think Joe Pyfer gets it done by KO. If he does take this to the ground, I am going to be very worried about my pick, though. So I'm going to go Joe Pyfer. I'm going to say late first round KO. I think he puts him, not necessarily puts him out, but like similar to Khamzat Chimaev. I think he just walks him down and just unloads some shots. I don't really trust the chin of Gerald Meerschaert too much. So I'm going to go with Joe Pyfer in this matchup. Up the card, we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. Gastelum, 17-8, 31 years of age, 71.5 inches of reach. Curtis, 30-9, 35 years of age, and 75.5 inches of reach. Curtis will have a 4-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I'm going to go with Chris Curtis. I think he's a better fighter at this point. I don't even know what Kelvin Gastelum is going to look like. It'll be, a little over a year and a half, or about a year and a half since his last fight against Jared Cannonier. He was supposed to fight Nasruddin Imavov, pulled out because I believe he got some kind of face injury. It was like a ringworm or whatever. It was really gross. But he was supposed to fight Nasruddin Imavov. I am going to go with Chris Curtis. I think he's going to be better on the feet. He's a solid boxer. Will work the body a little bit more, mix it in on Kelvin Gastelum. And I think that's how he gets the win. I think he wins by decision. I think Kelvin Gastelum will still be a little bit durable. He was able to take the best shots from Whitaker and Jared Cannonier. So I think Chris Curtis by decision is a pretty safe pick here. Same thing with Tapology. They think 64% decision for Curtis, 29% KO. Be interesting if he is going to be able to take out Gastelum. We haven't seen him in a while, but I think Gastelum's going to be decently durable to where he's going to take some of those shots from Chris Curtis. So I'm going to go Chris Curtis by decision in this matchup. I think he wins like all 3 rounds in this. Maybe Gastelum wins 1, but I think Curtis just, I don't want to say dog walks him, but I think he outstrikes him for sure, lands the better shots in this matchup. Up the card, we have Steve Garcia versus Shayilan Nuerdanbieke. I hope I said that right. Garcia, 13-5, 30 years of age, 73 inches of reach. Nuerdanbieke, 39-10, 28 years of age, 69 inches of reach. Garcia has a 4-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Shayilan Nuerdanbieke. I think he's just going to be stronger in those wrestling, grappling submission situations. I think he's going to be able to get to the ground and basically win a decision here against Steve Garcia. Maybe mix in some of the strikes and make it a little uncertain for Steve Garcia on the feet, just trying to figure out Shayilan, but I think he's going to be stronger. I think he's going to get it done by decision. Of course, his last fight was against Derek Minner, the whole controversial fight with the James Krause and Derek Minner taking a dive kind of thing. But he did beat TJ Brown by decision, beat Sean Soriano by decision, but did lose to Joshua Kulibau, who's a solid fighter himself. For Steve Garcia, beat Chase Hooper by KO. Take that with what you will, honestly. Different people rate Chase Hooper differently. Chase Hooper's just a weird fighter at this point. But did get brutally KO'd by Meerschaert. Yeah. He like bounced him off the canvas, a pretty brutal KO. But I am going to go with Shayilan Nuerdanbieke by decision in this one. Same thing with Tapology. 52% have him winning by decision, 38 by TKO. So we'll see what happens here, but I do think he gets it done by decision. Up the card, we have Michelle Waterson-Gomez versus Luana Pinheiro. Waterson, 18-10, 37 years of age, 62 inches of reach. Pinheiro, 10-1, 29 years of age and 62 inches of reach. They have the similar reach, though. But for Waterson, in her last couple matchups were against Amanda Lemos, lost by submission, lost to Marina Rodriguez by a decision, beat Angela Hill by split decision, lost to Carlos Barza by split decision, and lost to Luana Pinheiro, beat Sam Hughes, beat Renda Marco, so she's kind of working her way up here, but I'm going to take the younger fighter. I think I'm going to go with Pinheiro in this one. I think she gets it done by decision. I think Waterson, although she has fought better competition, I think she's just on that side of her career. I think she's going to go down a little bit more, which is why I think Luana Pinheiro is going to get this one done. So I'm going to go Luana Pinheiro by decision. Same thing with Tapology, 80% for decision in this one. So Luana Pinheiro by decision. Up the card, we have Cynthia Calvillo versus Lupi Godinez. Calvillo, 9-5, 35 years of age, 64 inches of reach. Godinez, 8-3, 29 years of age, 61 inches of reach. Cynthia Calvillo will have a 3-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Lupi Godinez. I think she's going to be better on the ground, better with the wrestling. She did lose to Angela Hill in her last fight, which Angela Hill is a very solid fighter in the women's division, but did put on a very good performance against Ariane Carnelosi. Very good performance there, and then beat Luma Lukbumi, who does look pretty solid now also in the women's division. Cynthia Calvillo lost to Nina Nunes by split decision, lost to Andrea Lee by KO. Lost to Jessica Andrade by KO, and then lost to Caitlin Chukagian. But the Nina Nunes one is kind of rough. I'm going to go with Lupi Godinez. I think she wins it by a decision, but I think she puts on a really good performance against Cynthia Calvillo in this matchup. Up the card, we have Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Holland, 23-9, 30 years of age, 81 inches of reach. Ponzinibbio, 29-6, 36 years of age, and 73 inches of reach. Holland will have an 8-inch reach advantage in this matchup. Kevin Holland, his last couple matchups, he was a loss to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by KO. Retirement, weird thing they put on there, but he got hurt. I believe he like broke his hand or something, so the fight got stopped after like the 4th round. Before that, he lost to Khamzat Chimaev during the whole drama during the fight week for UFC 279 with the weight miss. Beat Tim Means by a submission, and then beat Alex Oliveira by a KO. Santiago Ponzinibbio beat Alex Morono in his last matchup. Lost to Michelle Pereira. Lost to Jeff Neal by split decisions. Beat Miguel Beza, and then lost to Li Jingliang by a left hook KO. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. I think he's going to be better on the feet. I think he's actually going to win this fight by like a TKO in the 2nd round. Santiago Ponzinibbio but he was losing against Alex Morono, got hurt, got knocked down by Alex Morono. And you know how Alex Morono is. He's not a guy that really knocks too many guys down, honestly. He came in on short notice too, so Alex Morono was kind of out of shape also, and he was able to drop Santiago Ponzinibbio before Ponzinibbio was able to finish him, I believe, in like the 3rd round. But I don't know. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. He's the lengthier fighter. I think he's going to have more power in his shots than a Morono, and I think it's going to be really like a really awkward fighter. Like Kevin Holland's going to catch a guy like Santiago Ponzinibbio and put him out in the 2nd round. So I'm going to go Kevin Holland by 2nd round TKO. Tapology has a 60% for Holland by TKO. What do we got? 6% submission, 28 decision. Yeah, I think Holland's going to win this one by TKO in the 2nd round for sure. Up the card, we have Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. Rosas, 7-0, 18 years of age, and 67 inches of reach. Rodriguez, 8-1, 25 years of age, and 71 inches of reach. I believe, hold on, I lost it. Rodriguez will have a 4-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Raul Rosas Jr. I think he's going to come out there fast, come out there swinging, and he's going to go in for a takedown very early, go at a very high pace, and maybe he's going to be able to catch Christian Rodriguez early on in the submission. I think he's going to get the 2nd round submission. I think Christian Rodriguez is going to be able to defend early, but I think we'll see a little bit more of Raul Rosas Jr.'s stand-up before he goes in for a takedown. Maybe this one actually might end late 1st round. They also have Raul Rosas Jr. winning by a submission in this one, 66%, 24% by decision. I can see this one either going decision or a submission. Maybe Christian Rodriguez does a good job defending some of these takedowns and some of the grappling situations, which Raul Rosas Jr. is very good at. Maybe he can survive to a decision, and I think Raul Rosas still wins that, but I think Raul Rosas Jr. by submission. I actually think maybe late 1st or late 1st. I think he eventually gets a choke. His just submission and grappling skills are just out there. So I'm going to go with Raul Rosas Jr. in this matchup. Christian Rodriguez is good. He did get dominated on the ground by Jonathan Pierce, which Jonathan Pierce is pretty good. Gave him his 1st loss. But I don't know. Both of these guys are pretty young. We'll see how this fight goes. We'll see if Raul Rosas Jr. can continue to get some success in the UFC. The 18-year-old running through some of these guys. He beat Jay Perrin. Jay Perrin, I believe, who was the guy he fought? He fought, it's Arika Lang. Yeah, Arika Lang. Arika Lang couldn't finish Jay Perrin, but Raul Rosas Jr. was able to do that. So I think Raul Rosas Jr. is going to win this matchup by submission late 1st round. Up the card, we have Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Font, 19-6, 35 years of age, 71.5 inches of reach. Yanez, 16-3, 29 years of age, and 70 inches of reach. Font will have a 1.5-inch reach advantage in this matchup. Font, his last couple matchups, lost to Marlon Chito Vera by decision. Got beat up pretty badly in that matchup. I'm happy he took 10 months off. Lost to Jose Aldo by a decision. Beat Cody Garbrandt by decision. Beat Marlon Moraes by KO, and then beat Ricky Simone, which is a very good win. Adrian Yanez beat Tony Kelly by KO, beat Davey Grant by split decision, beat Randy Costa by KO. Kind of struggled in that 1st round a little bit, and then beat Gustavo Lopez by KO. So this is a pretty big step up in competition for Adrian Yanez. We'll see what happens here. I think this might actually be fight of the night. We'll see what happens. They are bantamweight. Bantamweight's one of the most skilled positions, one of the most skilled weight classes, and I think they could probably go at it here. This could be a really good scrap. I think I'm going to edge Yanez here. He's the underdog. I don't know if I've taken an underdog on this card yet. Well, I think I'm going to take the underdog in the main event, but I'm not sure if I've taken the underdog on this card. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Yanez. I think Font has really, really good boxing. I'm not gonna underrate Font at all. He's a really, really good boxer, but I think his durability is a really big question here. He's 35 years old, almost 36. Yanez, I am a little worried because he was on a pretty good roll here. He fought Randy Costa, which he did get pretty badly beaten up in that first round with a jab. He just couldn't figure that out, and then he eventually won that fight after Randy Costa kind of gassed out after that first round, because Randy Costa had one good round in him, pretty much. Then beat Davey Grant on after 4 months, and then beat, what was that, like a 5 months to Tony Kelly. But now this one's 8 months. I'm not sure if he was injured or what, but I'm worried that his momentum might have stopped and he just gets beat by Rob Font in a decision here. But I just worry about Rob Font and his durability towards the end of these rounds. Like you saw, Chito Vera, although has really crazy power, was able to catch Rob Font. And I think Yanez is going to be able to hurt Rob Font. He's getting older. The reach advantage isn't that big here. He does utilize a jab. I think Rob Font will definitely win this first round, but I think eventually late second round, maybe early third round, you'll see Yanez catch Rob Font, and I think he'll end up putting Font away. It'll be early on in the round. People are picking Yanez, which is very interesting. I think Font should definitely be picked here more. I think the obvious choice should be Font. I think he's a better boxer, but I do just worry about his durability in all honesty. So 51% say KO, TKO, 41% by decision. It'll be very interesting. I am going to go with Font, though. Font does get knocked down and does kind of survive, but I am going to go with Adrian Yanez by a third round TKO. I think he catches him. I think he's just really good at finishing the fight. Crowd will be hyped, and you just finish him up on the ground. Third round TKO for Adrian Yanez. Up the card, we have Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. Gilbert Burns, 21-5, 36 years of age, 71 inches of reach. Masvidal, 35-16, 38 years of age, 74 inches of reach. Masvidal will have a 3-inch reach advantage in this matchup. Gilbert Burns, last fight was against Neil Magny, won by an arm triangle, pretty much dominated him that fight. Lost to Khamzat Chimaev in a war. Beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by kind of like just a boring decision there, kind of just laid on him. And then lost to Kamaru Usman after he hurt him early on in the fight, kind of laid on his back. And I'm not going to diss Gilbert Burns too much, but he laid on his back and did nothing after that. Last fight for Jorge Masvidal was a year ago against Colby Covington, lost by a decision, 50-44. Lost to Kamaru Usman by KO, and then lost to Kamaru Usman by a decision. Before that, beat Nate Diaz by stoppage, and then hit that flying knee on Ben Askren. So at first, early on in this year, I was thinking Jorge Masvidal has a really good chance, but after that Neil Magny fight where I just had to be reminded how strong Gilbert Burns is, I think he just gets Masvidal to the ground. I know Gilbert Burns' offensive wrestling is not that great. I mean, it's good, but it's not great. It's not Colby Covington or like a Kamaru Usman. But I think his grappling is way better than both of those guys. And I think if it does get to the ground, I think Gilbert Burns will be a lot better than Colby on those ground scenarios with the grappling, and will be able to find a submission eventually in this matchup. I believe this is a 3-round fight for the co-main event. Yeah, I believe it is 3 rounds. I don't remember if it said, oh yeah, 3 5-minute rounds. So yeah, this is a 3-round fight. I think they're actually going to come out pretty fast. I think both of you guys are going to lick the scrap. If Gilbert Burns ever gets hurt, I think he's going to shoot for a takedown. He's going to be a stronger guy. I think he's going to get him to the ground. I think he's going to be able to out-grapple him on the ground. If it does get to the ground, I can see Gilbert Burns just submitting Jorge Masvidal in like the second round after they scrap in the first. But I do get a little worried about Gilbert Burns. He is 36 years old, almost 37. Masvidal is also very much older, also got KO'd by Kamaru Usman, got hurt a little bit by Colby Covington in that matchup. So I am a little worried about Jorge Masvidal's durability, but I feel like this fight could swing either way if it does stay on the feet, but I will edge the power of Gilbert Burns. He is a little bit of the younger fighter. I think I don't want to say he's more durable because Jorge does still have a good chin, but I don't know. I edge this to Gilbert Burns on the ground. I edge it a little bit on the feet. I think Masvidal can catch Gilbert Burns and finish him for sure, but I'm just going to lean with the power of Gilbert Burns, maybe hurting Masvidal or at least landing good on Masvidal and eventually just getting him to the ground late second round, using the grappling and maybe getting submission on the ground. I think he just has more ways to win in this matchup. So Masvidal has a 12% chance of winning this fight, and it'll probably be by KO. Burns, 11% by KO, 44 by submission, and 38 by decision. So it's kind of even on submission and decision for Tapology. I'm going to go with submission. Late second round, maybe third round. Maybe it's a little bit closer for this first couple rounds, and Gilbert Burns is like, screw it. This is a close fight. I need to get to the ground and finish off Jorge Masvidal. I know Jorge Masvidal said he's going to work on his defensive grappling and wrestling after that Colby fight, but we'll see what happens here. But I am going to go with Gilbert Burns in this matchup. So Gilbert Burns by a late second round submission in this matchup. Up the card to our main event, we have Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 2. Alex Pereira, 7-1, 35 years of age and 80 inches of reach. Israel Adesanya, 23-2, 33 years of age and a similar reach and 80 inches. This matchup is going to be great. It's going to be a really fun matchup just because you got to see if Israel Adesanya is going to get back at Alex Pereira at some point. Like 3-0 is very rough in all sports, obviously. 1-0 in MMA, 2-0 in kickboxing. He did win that first matchup in kickboxing, but Israel Adesanya looking for some revenge here. This is a very, very big matchup for both of them. I think in their last matchup, just to go over it as a little recap, a lot of people will say that Israel Adesanya dominated that fight like it was an Usman versus Leon Edwards 2. It was not like that at all. I rewatched the fight a couple times. First round, it was very close. Honestly, I had Alex Pereira winning that round until the end when he got caught. Second round, at Alex Pereira winning that one pretty clearly. Same scenario that happened in round 5. He put him against the fence, caught him with a good left hand, but the fifth round was able to actually hurt Israel Adesanya because the fight went on and obviously damage accumulates and the conditioning starts to go down a little bit more. But third round, Israel Adesanya was able to win that one on the feet, and then fourth round he was able to he got out wrestled, or no, I'm sorry, third round Alex Pereira got out grappled on the ground and out wrestled on the ground. He didn't get taken down. Alex Pereira went in for a really bad takedown, and Izzy was able to reverse position. And then the fourth round, Izzy was able to just control on the feet a little bit more. So the fifth round, Alex Pereira came out. So I don't know. I just don't think it is as one-sided as people like to think it is. So for this one, I am going to go with Alex Pereira in this matchup. I think there's just some guys you can't beat, and I think mentally he's going to be the better fighter here. I think same thing with Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards 3 fight going from 2 to 3. I feel like the adjustments favor Alex Pereira in this matchup. I feel like Leon Edwards moving out of altitude helped him there. I think him seeing and feeling everything that Kamaru Usman gave him, he was able to adjust and actually put on a better performance. I feel like Alex Pereira saw everything in the wrestling and grappling, saw everything on the feet. I think he's going to be able to adjust the adjustments because he is very new to the sport and he just beat the world champion. He can make the adjustments here. There's not too many adjustments that Israel Adesanya can make other than, I guess, better his offensive wrestling a little bit more and offensive grappling. But I think Alex Pereira is going to defend the takedowns well. I do think Israel Adesanya is going to try and mix it in, but I think it's going to be a little too late for this matchup. But I do think first round, Israel Adesanya comes out very fast. I think he just wants to make quick work. He's like, oh, that first round I almost had to finish. I need to go after him this round. I think he does hurt Alex Pereira in that first round. I think he comes after him, tries to walk him down, land some good shots, tries to just tank some of the power shots from Alex Pereira and just try and land on him and try to hurt him really badly, try to get this one finished early. Second round, I think it cools down a little bit. Alex Pereira, I don't want to say barely escapes, but I think he gets hurt a couple times, but escapes, clinches up a little bit, ends the first round. People are cheering, whatever. Second round, I think it cools down a little bit. Though Izzy will start to rip some leg kicks. I think Alex Pereira is going to settle in a little bit more, get a little bit more comfortable, similar to that last fight that they had. It's going to be Alex Pereira checking some of the kicks, hitting some good leg kicks, and then landing some decent shots. I think it's going to be a very close round in the second round. I feel like that one's kind of a swing round. You can kind of give it to either one of the guys. It just depends on who lands better. Third round is going to be, I think Alex Pereira lands very good on Israel Adesanya. I think Israel Adesanya settles in a little bit more, but Alex Pereira is back on his game plan. I think he's like, okay, third round. Second round was pretty close. I don't know if I won that round. I think he's going to move forward. Just like the second round and the fifth round, he's going to move forward on Israel Adesanya, check some of the leg kicks, hit some good body shots, land up top again, push him against the fence, corner him against the fence, maybe put him in a clinch scenario, rip to the body a little bit more, rip up top, break from the clinch, and then maybe back him up towards the fence again, hit the left hook, time the right hook, just depending on the way Israel Adesanya circles out of those corners. And I think Alex Pereira catches him again in that round. I think Izzy gets hurt. He'll shoot him for a takedown. Actually, I don't know here's the thing. I have an idea in my head how I think this fight will go, but it's a very risky, and the odds of it happening are like, I don't want to say very low, but I think he hurts Israel Adesanya very badly, and I think he ends up taking down Israel Adesanya because Israel Adesanya is going to shoot for a bad takedown. He wants to enforce, like in his brain, he's like, if I get hurt, I need to shoot him for a takedown because they didn't do it in the last fight or whatever. I think he's going to shoot him for a really bad takedown. Alex Pereira is going to stop it, like sprawl it a little bit, get the underhooks, and then just trip him on the ground, control him on the ground. I think he's going to beat him up pretty badly, and I think fourth round, fifth round, or Alex Pereira is going to be more offensive. Izzy got hurt, and I don't know if he's going to, react the same way. I think Alex Pereira is just going to keep walking him down, letting left hook, and I think, honestly, I don't edge Israel Adesanya in the wrestling in this matchup. I think Alex Pereira is going to be better in the wrestling, and I think he's going to be better in the grappling. I think Glover Teixeira really focusing on Alex Pereira in this matchup is going to be very different for him. I think he's going to be training this stuff a lot harder, and I think he's going to be winning in those situations. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was last time when the positions were reversed on Alex Pereira on the ground. So I'm going to go Alex Pereira. I think I had this written down. Hear me out. I had this written down as a third round TKO. Israel Adesanya shoots in for a bad takedown. Alex Pereira trips him over on the ground, and then Alex Pereira just beats him up on the ground. Maybe goes inside control, just elbows him, and then just gets kind of on top. Izzy tries to get up, but he just pounds away on him, and I think he wins by a TKO on the ground. But I don't know. I feel like that's a really risky method of victory for Alex Pereira winning here. I think this one could very well go to a decision. I just edge it more to Alex Pereira in this matchup. So in my brain, and very risky way, and in my brain, I think Alex Pereira just edging more into the improvements. I think he catches Israel Adesanya in the third round. Izzy shoots in for a bad takedown. Alex Pereira gets on top of him and then just TKOs him on the ground. It's a lot of people won't like that one, but I think that's how it goes. Maybe Izzy gets a finish here. Again, these guys are both very even. When I say he's going to finish him on the ground, this is a very even fight. This should honestly go either way. But I do edge the improvements to Alex Pereira in this matchup for sure over Izzy. So I'm going to go Alex Pereira by TKO. Again, I think it's going to be early on in this fight. I think both of them are going to be a little bit more aggressive. I think both of them know that they both hurt each other and they know that they can go out. So I think they're both going to scrap in this one. But I think Alex Pereira gets a third round TKO. I don't know what happens with Israel Adesanya. Maybe he waits like a year or something and waits for either Alex Pereira to lose the belt or move up to light heavyweight. But I can definitely see that happening. So if the fight does go longer than the third round, I think they both kind of scrap. Izzy probably wins the fourth round. I think Alex Pereira wins the fifth round again. So, and he probably wins by decision 3-2. But knowing how the judges are, you never know at that point. So I'm gonna go Alex Pereira by TKO, third round. Some people probably won't like that. Won't like that how I said that, like the finish or whatever. But I think Alex Pereira wins this fight, TKO. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know who you guys think wins Alex Pereira in the Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 2 matchup. And I'll see you guys next time.